The emergency meeting had been called at 7 in the morning, and by 7:15, Owen Brooks knew it was already over for him. Harper Lane stood at the head of the conference table, her posture rigid, her voice cutting through the room like a blade. She dismissed his proposal without hesitation, calling it garbage theory from someone who had no business thinking beyond his pay grade. Owen tried to explain that the system was showing dangerous deviations, patterns that pointed toward something far worse than a routine glitch, but Harper raised her hand and stopped him mid-sentence. "You are here to follow orders," she said coldly. "Not to think." Owen gathered his notes and walked out. His phone buzzed. A text from his 7-year-old daughter, Mia, appeared on the screen. "Are you okay, Daddy?" Owen smiled and typed back a reassurance, not knowing that in just a few hours, the very idea she had rejected would become the only thing capable of saving everyone. Owen Brooks had worked at Meridian Technologies for almost 4 years as a junior systems technician. Most people in the company did not know his name, but Owen had a mind that could not stop analyzing. He noticed patterns where others saw noise. And lately, those instincts had been screaming at him that something was deeply wrong with the central operating system. The deviations had started small. A fraction of a second delay in data synchronization. A temperature spike in one of the auxiliary servers. Owen documented everything, running simulations during his lunch breaks and staying late to cross-reference the anomalies. His colleagues thought he was being paranoid. His supervisor told him to stop wasting time on theoretical problems. The numbers told a story, and that story ended badly. He had requested the meeting with Harper Lane as a last resort. Harper was known for her sharp intelligence and even sharper temper. She had built Meridian from a struggling startup into a regional powerhouse through sheer force of will. Owen had prepared for weeks. He thought that if he could just show her the evidence, she would understand. He was wrong. That evening, Owen sat in his small apartment. Mia was doing homework in the living room, her tongue poking out in concentration as she practiced her cursive letters. Owen watched her for a moment, feeling the familiar ache of single parenthood. His wife Elena had passed away 3 years ago, a car accident on a rainy November night. Since then, it had been just the two of them. Owen settled onto the worn couch beside his daughter. Mia looked up and studied his face. "The important people did not listen to you today," she said. "It was not a question." "Not yet, sweetheart," he admitted. "But that does not mean I'm going to stop trying." Mia leaned into him. "Good," she said firmly. "Because you always tell me that the truth matters even when it is hard. Especially when it is hard." Owen felt his throat tighten. "That is right, baby girl. The truth always matters." Later that night, after Mia had fallen asleep, Owen returned to his laptop. The pattern was still there, subtle but undeniable. The system was degrading in ways that the standard monitoring tools could not detect. It was like watching a bridge develop hairline fractures that no one else could see. Eventually, those fractures would spread, and the whole structure would come crashing down. Harper Lane worked late most nights. It was a habit she had developed in the early days of Meridian. Work was her identity, her purpose. She was reviewing quarterly projections when she noticed Owen Brooks through the glass wall of her office, still at his workstation. She had made herself clear that morning. His theories were unfounded, his concerns exaggerated. And yet there he was, still chasing ghosts. Part of her wondered what he was seeing that she could not. Harper pushed the thought away. She had a company to run. The glitch happened 3 days later at precisely 2:47 in the afternoon. Owen was in the server room when the lights flickered. The primary monitoring display went dark for exactly 4 seconds before rebooting with a cascade of error messages. Owen recognized it immediately. It was the exact sequence his simulation had predicted. He reported the incident to his supervisor, Gerald, who logged it as a minor anomaly. Owen pressed for a deeper analysis, but his request was denied. Owen returned to his workstation and added the new information to his model. The glitch was not random. It was a symptom of a cascading failure building momentum beneath the surface. Harper heard about the incident through the daily operations report, flagged as resolved. She almost scrolled past it, but something made her pause. The description matched what Owen had warned her about. The timing, the affected systems, the pattern of recovery. Harper stared at the report for a long moment. She told herself it was a coincidence. But the doubt had taken root. She found herself walking through the operations floor that evening. Most of the staff had gone home, but Owen was still there, surrounded by printouts and empty coffee cups. He looked up when he saw her approaching. "Mississippi Lane," he said carefully. "Is there something I can help you with?" "What did you see?" she asked quietly. "I am sorry. The glitch this afternoon. You predicted it." "How?" Owen gestured to his screens. "It is all in the data. The system is showing signs of progressive degradation. Small failures that compound over time. Our engineers say the system is stable." Owen met her gaze. "With respect, Mississippi Lane, your engineers are looking at the wrong metrics. The system can perform perfectly right up until the moment it collapses completely." Harper wanted to argue, but something in Owen's eyes stopped her. He was not trying to prove her wrong. He was trying to prevent a disaster. "I will review your data," she said finally. "But I am not making any promises." Owen nodded. "That is all I am asking." The next major incident came exactly 71 hours later. Owen was at home sleeping when his phone exploded with notifications. A critical subsystem had gone offline without warning, taking 3 connected modules with it. Owen threw on clothes and drove to the office. By the time he arrived, the building was ablaze with lights. He found Harper in the main control room, surrounded by engineers and executives talking over each other in barely controlled panic. Data streams scrolled across the massive wall displays, most flashing red warnings. Harper spotted him. "Brooks," she called out. "Get over here." Owen made his way to her side. "This is worse than the simulation predicted. We need to implement a full system isolation immediately." One of the senior engineers scoffed. "That would shut down half our operations. We would lose millions." "If we do not isolate the affected systems, we will lose everything," Owen said firmly. "The cascade will spread to the primary servers within hours." Harper raised her hand. "Enough. What exactly are you proposing, Brooks?" Owen explained the options. Harper listened without interrupting. "We implement partial isolation," she announced finally. "Brooks, I want you monitoring the containment in real time." Owen nodded and moved to a workstation. The containment held through the night, but barely. Owen worked without stopping, pausing only to send Mia a text. She responded with a heart emoji and a photo captioned, "I am being brave like you." Owen smiled and saved the photo. By morning, the situation had stabilized enough for Harper to send most staff home. She stayed, and so did Owen. Harper brought him coffee at one point. Owen looked up and met her eyes. "Thank you," he said. Harper nodded and returned to her station. The containment held for almost 18 hours. Then the first breach occurred. A subsystem that should have been isolated suddenly came back online, flooding the network with corrupted data. The engineers scrambled, but every time they cut off one pathway, 2 more opened up. Harper appeared at his side. "How bad?" she asked. Owen pulled up a schematic. "The primary servers are compromised. We are looking at total system failure within the next 2 hours." Around them, the control room had descended into chaos. Harper just stood there, processing the magnitude of what they were facing. "What do we do?" she asked finally. "There is one option," Owen said. "But it is risky, and it requires your full authority." Owen explained quickly. The only way to stop the cascade was to force a complete system reset, rebooting from a clean backup. The risk was that if the backup was corrupted or the reboot failed, they would lose everything permanently. Harper turned to face the room. "Everyone stop," she commanded. Her voice cut through the chaos. "We are implementing a full system reset. Brooks is going to walk us through the procedure. I need everyone following his instructions exactly." The next 40 minutes were the longest of Owen's life. He coordinated teams across the entire facility. Harper stayed by his side, implementing authorization protocols. They worked together with a synchronicity that surprised them both. The countdown began. Owen's phone buzzed. A FaceTime request from Mia. He answered. Her face appeared, sleepy and worried. "Daddy, are you okay?" Owen smiled. "I am okay, sweetheart. I will be home as soon as everyone is safe." "You promise?" "I promise, baby girl." The reset initiated. Screens went dark one by one. For exactly 12 seconds, the entire network was completely offline. Then, slowly, beautifully, the systems began to come back online. Green lights replaced red ones. Data streams stabilized. The corrupted pathways had been purged. Around him, the control room erupted in celebration. Harper stood motionless beside Owen. When the restoration reached 95%, she finally turned to face him. "You did it," she said quietly. "We did it," Owen corrected. "I could not have implemented that reset without your authority." Harper was silent for a long moment. Then she extended her hand. "I owe you an apology. I dismissed your warnings because I did not want to hear them. That was arrogant and it almost cost us everything." Owen took her hand. "You listened when it mattered. That is what counts." The next morning, Harper called an all-hands meeting. The entire company gathered in the main atrium. People whispered Owen's name, pointing him out to colleagues who did not know him by sight. Harper took the stage. "Last night, this company faced an existential threat. We survived because one person had the courage to speak up, even when I refused to listen." She paused, her eyes finding Owen. Owen Brooks saw what the rest of us missed. He tried to warn us and we dismissed him. But he did not give up. She gestured for Owen to come forward. "Effective immediately, I am creating a new position. Chief Safety Officer, reporting directly to me. And I can think of no one better suited than Owen Brooks." The applause was thunderous. Owen stood on the stage, overwhelmed. "I am honored," he said when the applause died down. "But I need to ask for one thing before I accept." Harper raised an eyebrow. "Name it." Owen smiled. "I need the rest of the day off. I promised my daughter I would take her out to celebrate, and I never break a promise to her." Laughter rippled through the room. "Take the week," Harper said. "You have earned it. And Brooks, thank you. For not giving up." Owen left the building an hour later. When he walked through the front door of his apartment, Mia was waiting in her pajamas. "Daddy," she cried, launching herself at him. Owen caught her and held her tight. "I knew it," Mia whispered. "I knew someone would finally listen to you." "How did you know?" he asked. Mia shrugged. "Because you always tell the truth. And the truth always wins eventually. You told me that." Owen carried her to the kitchen and started making pancakes. "Daddy," she said, "are you going to be a big boss now?" Owen laughed. "Something like that. Will you still have time to make pancakes?" "Always," he promised. "No matter what happens, I will always have time for pancakes with you." An hour later, they were walking hand in hand through the park. Mia ran ahead to the swings, her laughter floating back to Owen like music. His phone buzzed. A message from Harper about expanded safety protocols. Owen read it twice, then slipped the phone back into his pocket. The future could wait. "Daddy, come push me," Mia called. Owen jogged over to the swings. "Ready?" he asked. "Ready," Mia shouted. Owen pushed and his daughter soared into the sky, laughing with pure joy. And for that perfect moment, everything was exactly as it should be.